My name is Tasia Taylor. I have two boys. One is Jakai Cameron, he is 10, and Kawan Wilson, who is 14. We've been in a program, I think 2.5 years, a little bit over 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because he'll be 15 soon, so a little bit over 2 years. So he was always angry. He was always disconnected from normal life. Like he just shut down. He wanted to be alone most of the time, like emotional, because he always was around women. Me, my mom, so it was kind of like a disconnect. He needed that male, figure or even being around other males his age range. So he was basically disconnected, angry, just mad all the time for no reason. The very first day, ironically. So on the first visit, it was actually an event that Mr. Ronald was throwing, and it wound up being our first meeting ever. And he was shunned out on that day as well. My oldest son. My youngest son just joined the program, but my oldest son was shunned out on that day. And I remember Mr. Ronald pulling me to the side saying, "Don't worry about him. I promise you, I got him." And I still wasn't a believer. I'm like, no, I know my son. I know my son. My son never, ever, ever, not one time stated he never wanted to go back. He was more enthusiastic after that day than, as he is now. Yes. So he is more excited about life, about college, about school, because within the program they do, talk about college and going other places and seeing other things and also encouraging them to be themselves. So if it's something that you like to do, like my oldest son likes to edit. So, Mr. Ronald encourages all the boys to kind of, get a feel for their own, and he introduces them to people that would give them their stories about how they did what they did and how they came up. And with my son, it gives him another insight. So he's more excited. I noticed in school, he's now a freshman, first year freshman in high school. And I don't even have to wake him up for school in the morning. He's waking me up fully dressed, like, "Hey, mom, it's time to go." And that's something that I never had prior years. It was always me forcing him, like, "Hey, get dressed, get up, it's time to go." No assignments. If he missed something, it's like, "No, I got it, I got it." And I think it's all, you know, because of the program. He gets a different side of people supporting him in opposed to just, "Oh, you're just being a mom." It's like, no, this is, other people that's also rooting for me that I can call. And he's, talking to us about school and about college. So it's like an excitement within him, even in his freshman year of high school. So worries are, for one, a justice system, because as a black individual, not just a female, we've always noticed the justice system isn't on our side necessarily. It's not designed for people of color. We're still fighting for justice towards, everything to be fair. Basically, what I'm trying to say, confusing myself now. But as far as my son, the fears that I have is him following the wrong crowd. Is him getting stuck in the idea of you can't succeed, you can't do better. You're just stuck in this bubble. You have no voice, you have no fight in you. Um, and you are just whatever society tells you you are. And I don't believe in that. I believe you are who you deem you are. Whatever you believe, whatever mindset you put forward is what you're going to do. It may not happen when you want it to happen, but if you keep talking positivity, you will always get it. Because the type of people that they may meet when they're not around their parents or even around their mentors, you never know who your kid will encounter. You can raise them to be the best that they can be, but then they can go in the street and they can meet a friend that's, kind of a knucklehead or don't have the same guidance that they have, and they can steer away. But if you train your child to think for themselves, it's nothing that can really face them, whether it's the justice system or anything, because they're going to be well educated in how to handle different situations and how to reach out to different people to get themselves out of whatever, and opposed to causing more harm to themselves. Definitely, I would. I will say this, just to give a little backstory. For 2 years prior to joining this program, I was actually driving to school with my son, and I heard Mr. Scott on the radio. And it was literally for all of maybe 10 minutes, because it was kind of the end of his interview. And for 2 years, because the starting age was 12 and my son was only 10, I followed his page. And he didn't even know, he didn't know me, I didn't know him. But immediately when I heard the interview, I followed his page. So I held on to that page for 2 whole years until my son was able to age into the program. And from that moment on, I have not regretted it. So that's one thing, yes. And, the things that Mr. Ronald is planning in the background, it may not be all, up front right now where everyone can see it, but it's amazing. It's amazing. So yes, I would definitely recommend it, even for future, because you have to build something from the ground up, and it takes a village. It takes everyone to play their part, to be able to build the program. One person cannot do it alone. They can have the idea, they can have, the tenacity to want to do it, but at the same token, it takes everybody to come together to get the benefits and everything out of it. So yes, I definitely would, now and for future years to come, because it will only get better from here.